Yo, what's up guys, hope you guys are doing good. So today we are gonna see, what if Naruto was teleported in the Loud House universe, and got harem with everyone, part 2, so before we start, subscribe to our channel, and like this video. 2 months after the attack on their home, Team Loud had settled into a routine that would have seemed impossible when Naruto first arrived. The family woke at 4:30 every morning without complaint, running through conditioning exercises that would have broken professional athletes. By the time the sun rose, they had already completed what most people would consider a full day's workout. Breakfast had become a strategic meeting, with Lisa presenting intelligence gathered overnight, and Lincoln coordinating the day's activities. School and work were attended, but everyone remained on high alert, constantly scanning for threats or surveillance. The house itself had been transformed into a fortress. Lisa had installed chakra detection arrays that could sense anyone approaching within a half-mile radius. Lana had created a network of traps that could be activated remotely, turning the entire property into a defensive maze. The walls had been reinforced with chakra-conducting materials that could absorb and redirect energy attacks. To the outside world, there was still the loud, chaotic Loud family. But underneath, they had become something else entirely. Naruto watched this transformation with mixed feelings. Pride, because they had become strong enough to protect themselves. Concern, because they were losing pieces of their normal lives. Guilt, because it was his presence that had forced these changes. "Stop breathing," Lori said, appearing beside him on the porch where he had been watching the sunrise. "I can literally hear you thinking guilty thoughts from inside the house. Am I that obvious?" Naruto asked with a slight smile. "To me you are," Lori said, sitting down next to him and taking his hand. "You are thinking that this is all your fault, that we gave up too much, that you ruined our lives. Am I wrong?" Naruto asked quietly. "Completely wrong," Lori said firmly. "Naruto, look at what we have become. Lin is being scouted by every major sports team in the country because her abilities make her unstoppable. Luna's music career is taking off because she can do things with sound that no other artist can. Lisa is revolutionizing multiple fields of science with her chakra-based research. We are not losing anything. We are gaining everything." "But you are in constant danger," Naruto protested. "We were always in danger," Lori countered. "It just was not as obvious before. At least now we can defend ourselves. At least now we are not helpless." Before Naruto could respond, Lisa's voice crackled over the communication devices they all wore now. "Priority alert. Dimensional energy spike detected. Magnitude 8.5. Location: downtown Royal Woods, near the old industrial district." "That is big," Naruto said, already on his feet. "Bigger than anything we have seen since the hub." "Everyone, suit up," Lori said into her communicator. "We move in 5. The family assembled with practiced efficiency, each member checking their equipment and confirming their readiness. They had uniforms now, designed by Lini and enhanced by Lisa. Black and orange, paying homage to Naruto's colors while being practical for combat. "What are we dealing with?" Lin Jr. asked, bouncing on her toes with barely contained energy. "Unknown," Lisa said, studying her readings. "The energy signature is massive but unstable. It could be another incursion attempt, or it could be something naturally occurring. Either way, we need to investigate." They took 2 vehicles, Rita and Lin Sr. staying behind with Lily to guard the house. The rest of Team Loud headed downtown, arriving at the industrial district to find reality itself seeming to tear apart. A massive portal hung in the air, easily 50 feet across, swirling with purple and black energy. And through it, Naruto could see another world. Not his world, but something else. A dark landscape of twisted trees and crimson sky, wrong in a way that made his stomach churn. "That is not good," Luna said, stating the obvious. "We need to close it," Naruto said, "before something comes through." But they were too late. A figure emerged from the portal, human-shaped but wrong. Its skin was too pale, almost translucent, and its eyes glowed with an unnatural red light. It wore armor that seemed to be made of shadow and moved with a grace that was distinctly inhuman. And then another figure emerged. And another. Within seconds, a dozen of these creatures had stepped through the portal, spreading out in a loose formation. "Defensive positions," Naruto ordered. "Lisa, can you close that portal?" "Working on it," Lisa called back, already setting up her equipment. "But it is going to take time. The energy matrix is incredibly complex." "Then we buy you time," Lori said, forming a Rasengan. "Team Loud, engage." The battle began in earnest. The creatures moved fast, faster than any human had a right to move, but Team Loud had trained for this. Lin Jr. met the first creature head-on, her chakra-enhanced strength allowing her to match its speed. They exchanged blows that would have killed normal people, neither giving an inch. Luna played a chord that sent a sonic blast toward 3 of the creatures, but they simply dispersed into shadow and reformed behind her. Lizzie appeared from the darkness, her kunai striking at weak points, but the creatures seemed to have no vital organs, no vulnerabilities she could exploit. Lincoln coordinated from a safe distance, calling out positions and patterns. "They are testing us. Looking for weaknesses. Do not give them any openings." Naruto created 100 shadow clones, overwhelming the creatures with sheer numbers. But these enemies were different from anything he had fought before. They adapted quickly, learning his patterns, countering his techniques with disturbing ease. One of the creatures locked eyes with Naruto, and suddenly he was somewhere else. A genjutsu, but unlike any he had experienced. He saw his world burning, Konoha in ruins, his friends dead. He saw Lori and her family slaughtered, their bodies broken and discarded. With a surge of willpower, Naruto broke the illusion and found himself back in the fight. But the creature had used the momentary distraction to get close, its clawed hand reaching for his chest. Lori intercepted it with a perfectly timed Rasengan, the rotating chakra tearing through the creature's shadowy form. It screamed, a sound that was not quite sound, and dissolved into nothing. Thanks, Naruto gasped. We are partners, Lori said, already turning to face the next threat. We watch each other's backs. The battle raged for what felt like hours but was probably only minutes. Team Loud fought with everything they had, using every technique, every bit of training, every ounce of determination. Slowly, methodically, they took down the creatures one by one. But more kept coming through the portal. Lisa. Naruto shouted. We need that portal closed now. Almost there. Lisa called back. Just need 30 more seconds. 30 seconds felt like an eternity. More creatures poured through, and Team Loud was starting to tire. Even Naruto's seemingly infinite stamina was beginning to flag. And then something worse came through the portal. It was humanoid but massive, easily 12 feet tall, with armor that looked like it was made from nightmares. Its presence alone made the air feel heavy, oppressive. When it spoke, its voice resonated with power that made Naruto's bones ache. So this is the dimension that dares to harbor dimensional travelers, it said. How quaint. How foolish. Who are you? Naruto demanded, positioning himself between the creature and his family. I am Warden Zargath, keeper of dimensional balance, it said. And you, Naruto Uzumaki, are a violation of cosmic law. Your presence here has created instabilities across multiple realities. You must be eliminated. Like hell, Lori said, stepping up beside Naruto. He is not going anywhere. Zargath laughed, a sound like grinding metal. Ah, the locals have bonded with the anomaly. How touching. And how irrelevant. It moved with impossible speed, faster than Naruto could track. One moment it was standing by the portal, the next it was among them, its massive fist connecting with Lin Jr. and sending her flying into a building. Lin? Lincoln shouted, but he could not reach her. The smaller creatures had closed in, separating the team. Naruto attacked with everything he had, multiple Rasengans forming in the hands of his shadow clones. But Zargath simply swatted them aside like they were nothing. Its power was on a completely different level. You cannot win, Uzumaki, Zargath said, almost conversationally, as it demolished another wave of shadow clones. I have eliminated dimensional anomalies across 1,000 realities. You are nothing special. Maybe not, Naruto said, blood running down his face from a glancing blow. But I have something you do not. Oh? And what is that? A family worth fighting for. As if on cue, Team Loud struck as one. It was a coordinated assault they had been practicing for weeks, each member playing their part perfectly. Luna's sonic blast created a moment of disorientation. Lucy used that moment to position explosive tags around Zargath's legs. Lana triggered traps that wrapped chakra conducting wire around the creature's arms. Lola created a visual distraction with precise chakra manipulation, making it seem like attacks were coming from different directions. Lincoln directed it all, his tactical mind seeing the pattern, the opportunity. And Lori and Naruto, working in perfect synchronization, both formed their strongest Rasengans and struck simultaneously at the weak point Lisa had identified in Zargath's armor. The combined impact was devastating. Zargath roared in pain and fury, its armor cracking, dark energy spilling out. Impossible. It bellowed. You are mere children. Mortals. You should not be able to harm me. You clearly have not met the Loud family, Lori said with a fierce grin. Portal closure in 3, 2, 1, Lisa announced, and with a sound like reality sighing in relief, the portal snapped shut. The remaining shadow creatures dissolved instantly, their connection to their home dimension severed. Zargath stumbled, weakened but still dangerous. This is not over, it snarled. I will return. The Dimensional Council will send others. You cannot hide from us forever. Then we will fight you forever, Naruto said simply. That is our way. We never give up. Zargath looked at them, this collection of humans and one displaced shinobi, all battered and bleeding but still standing, still defiant. Something like respect flickered in its alien eyes. Perhaps you are not just an anomaly, it said quietly. Perhaps you are something more. But it changes nothing. The law is the law. It raised its hand, clearly preparing some kind of attack, but before it could complete the technique, something unexpected happened. A new portal opened, smaller and more controlled than the first. Through it stepped a figure that made Naruto's heart nearly stop. Sasuke Uchiha. Sasuke. Naruto breathed, unable to believe his eyes. His former teammate, his best friend, his brother in all but blood, stood before him looking exactly as Naruto remembered. Dark hair, pale skin, mismatched eyes, one normal and one Rinnegan, and that familiar expression of mild annoyance, mixed with deep concern. Naruto, Sasuke said, his voice carrying a relief he would never admit to. We have been looking for you for months. Kakashi sent me to retrieve you. How did you find me? Naruto asked. Your weekly communications with Kakashi, Sasuke said. Lisa's device creates a dimensional signature we could track. It took time, but I finally perfected a jutsu that could follow that signature across realities. Zargath, forgotten in the reunion, chose that moment to attack. But Sasuke simply looked at the creature, his Rinnegan activating, and Zargath froze mid-strike. You're interfering with Dimensional Council business, Zargath said, but there was fear in his voice now. I am retrieving my teammate, Sasuke said coldly. Leave. Now. Or I will show you what happens when someone threatens people I care about. The threat in Sasuke's voice was very real, and Zargath apparently recognized it. With a snarl of frustration, it opened its own portal and disappeared, leaving Team Loud and Sasuke standing in the ruined industrial district. For a long moment, nobody spoke. Then Sasuke's eyes swept over the Loud family, assessing them with his analytical gaze. So these are the people who have been keeping you safe, he said. They are stronger than I expected. We have had a good teacher, Lori said, stepping forward protectively. And you are? Sasuke Uchiha, he said. Naruto's teammate and friend. I am here to bring him home. The words hung in the air like a death sentence. This was the moment they had all been dreading. The moment when Naruto would have to choose between his old life and his new one. Sasuke, it is complicated, Naruto started. I am sure it is, Sasuke said. But Naruto, the village needs you. We all need you. You have been gone for months. There are situations developing that require your particular talents. And beyond that, you have people who miss you. Who worry about you. I know, Naruto said quietly. But I have people here who need me too. Who I care about. I cannot just abandon them. Sasuke's expression softened slightly. I am not asking you to abandon anyone. But you are a shinobi of Konoha. That comes with responsibilities you cannot ignore forever. He is not ignoring them, Lori said sharply. He is building a life here. He has earned the right to make his own choices. Sasuke looked at Lori properly for the first time, really seeing her. He saw the way she stood protectively near Naruto, the way her hand was close to his, the way they moved in unconscious synchronization. His eyes widened slightly with understanding. I see, he said. So it is like that. Yeah, Naruto said, taking Lori's hand openly. It is like that. Sasuke, I love her. I love all of them. They're my family now, just like you and Team 7 are. Sasuke was quiet for a long moment. Then he said, Hinata is going to be devastated. I know, Naruto said, guilt-lacing his voice. But I was never going to love her the way she deserves. It would not have been fair to either of us. Is she okay? She will be, Sasuke said. She is stronger than you think. But Naruto, you need to come back and tell her yourself. She deserves that much. He is right, Lori said quietly. You need to face this, not run from it. I am not running, Naruto protested. Then prove it, Sasuke said. Come back with me. Talk to Hinata. Talk to Kakashi. See your friends. And then, if you still want to come back here, I will help you find a way. You would do that? Naruto asked, surprised. You are my best friend, Sasuke said simply. More than that, you are my brother. I just want you to be happy. If these people make you happy, then I will support that. But you cannot leave things unfinished in our world. It will eat at you forever. Naruto knew Sasuke was right. He had been avoiding thinking about the confrontation with Hinata, about explaining to his friends why he wanted to stay in another dimension. But avoiding it would not make it go away. Okay, he said. I will come back with you. But I am coming back here too. This is my home now, as much as Konoha ever was. Then we will make it work, Sasuke said. Somehow. Team Loud had been listening to this exchange with growing distress. The thought of Naruto leaving, even temporarily, was painful. How long will you be gone? Luna asked, her voice small. I do not know, Naruto admitted. A few days. A week. I need to settle things, make sure everyone understands my decision. We will be here when you get back, Lori said, though tears were forming in her eyes. Just promise you will come back. I promise, Naruto said, pulling her into a tight embrace. Lori, you are the best thing that has ever happened to me. I am not giving that up. I am not giving any of you up. They held each other for a long moment, both trying to be strong for the other, both terrified that this might be goodbye despite all the promises. Finally, Naruto pulled back and addressed the rest of Team Loud. Keep training while I am gone. Stay alert. Morrison's agency and others will still be watching. And that Zargath creature said others would come. You need to be ready. We will be, Lin Jr. promised. You trained us well, Sensei. You trained yourselves, Naruto corrected. I just pointed you in the right direction. You are all stronger than you think. He said goodbye to each of them individually, sharing words of encouragement and pride. By the time he was done, most of them were crying, even Lucy who rarely showed emotion. Take care of them, Naruto said to Lori one last time. Take care of yourself, Lori countered. And remember, you promised. You are coming back. I never go back on my word, Naruto said with a smile that did not quite reach his eyes. That is my ninja way. Sasuke had been patient during all of this, but finally he said, we need to go. The portal is not stable for long periods. Naruto nodded and turned to face the portal Sasuke had opened. Through it, he could see Konoha, his village, looking exactly as he remembered. Home. Or what used to be home. Ready? Sasuke asked. No, Naruto admitted. But let us go anyway. They stepped through the portal together, and Naruto left behind the Loud family, the people who had become his world, the girl he loved more than he had thought possible. Lori watched the portal close, taking Naruto with it, and felt her heart break. He will come back, Lisa said quietly. His promise was genuine. The emotional commitment is real. I know, Lori said, wiping her eyes. But what if going back reminds him of why he wanted to be there in the first place? What if he chooses them over us? Then we will deal with it, Lin Jr. said firmly. But I do not think he will. Did you see the way he looked at you? That is not a guy who is going to change his mind. I hope you are right, Lori said. They returned home in subdued silence, the victory over Zargath feeling hollow without Naruto there to share it. The house felt empty, even with all of them there. Rita was waiting when they arrived, taking one look at their faces and understanding immediately. He is gone? She asked gently. Temporarily, Lori said, though her voice wavered. His friend came to take him home. He said he would come back, but you are scared he will not, Rita finished. She pulled Lori into a hug, letting her daughter finally break down and cry. Meanwhile, on the other side of dimensional barriers, Naruto emerged in Konoha to find a welcome party waiting. Kakashi was there, along with Sakura, Shikamaru, and several others. But his eyes immediately found Hinata, standing at the back of the group, her expression a mix of hope and heartbreak. Naruto, Kakashi said warmly, stepping forward to embrace his former student. It is good to have you back. It is good to be back, Naruto said, and part of him meant it. This was his village, these were his people. But another part of him was already thinking about Royal Woods, about Lori, about the life he had built there. You look different, Sakura observed, studying him with her medical ninja expertise. Stronger. More centered. A lot happened, Naruto said simply. We want to hear all about it, Kakashi said. But first, there are people who want to see you. People who have been worried sick. Over the next few hours, Naruto was reunited with friends he had thought he might never see again. Konohamaru had grown taller, stronger, clearly having trained hard in Naruto's absence. Shikamaru grilled him about his experiences with his usual analytical mind. Sakura checked him over for injuries, both physical and mental. But through it all, Naruto was acutely aware of Hinata watching him from a distance, never approaching, never interrupting. Finally, as the sun was setting and the crowd was beginning to disperse, Naruto approached her. Hi, Hinata, he said softly. Welcome home, Naruto, she said, her voice steady despite the pain in her eyes. Can we talk? Privately. She nodded and led him to a quiet spot on the outskirts of the village, a place they had trained together once upon a time. I know you met someone, Hinata said before Naruto could speak. Sasuke told me. I am happy for you. Hinata, I am sorry, Naruto said. I never meant to hurt you. I know, she said. You never do. But Naruto, I need to say something, and I need you to really hear it. Okay? I have loved you since we were children, Hinata said. You inspired me to be stronger, to believe in myself. You saved me in more ways than you know. And I think part of me will always love you. Hinata, Naruto started, but she held up a hand. But I also know that you do not love me the same way, she continued. Maybe you could have if you had tried, if you had given us a chance. But you did not, and now you have found someone who makes you happy in a way I never could. And I am genuinely glad for that, even though it hurts. You deserve someone who loves you completely, Naruto said. Not someone who is trying to force feelings that are not there. I know, Hinata said with a sad smile. And I will find that someday. But Naruto, you need to make a choice. You cannot split yourself between two worlds forever. Eventually, you will have to decide where you belong. What if I belong in both? Naruto asked. Then you belong in neither, Hinata said gently. You cannot serve two masters, Naruto. You cannot be the future Hokage while living in another dimension. You cannot build a life with this girl while maintaining all your responsibilities here. Something has to give. The words echoed what Naruto had been trying not to think about. She was right. He could not have both. Eventually, he would have to choose. What do I do? He asked helplessly. You follow your heart, Hinata said. Wherever it leads you. And you do not look back with regret. You have given so much to this village, Naruto. You have saved us more times than anyone can count. If your heart is telling you to be somewhere else, then go. We will survive without you. I do not want to abandon everyone, Naruto said. Then do not think of it as abandoning, Hinata suggested. Think of it as choosing where you can do the most good, where you can be happiest, where you belong. They talked for another hour, finding closure that had been years in the making. By the end, Hinata was crying, but they were healing tears, not bitter ones. Be happy, Naruto, she said as they parted. That is all I have ever wanted for you. You too, Hinata, Naruto said. You are an amazing person. The right guy is going to be so lucky. She smiled and walked away, her back straight, her head high. Naruto watched her go and felt a weight lift from his shoulders. The guilt he had been carrying about Hinata, about not being able to return her feelings, it was finally resolved. That night, he met with Kakashi in the Hokage's office. So, Kakashi said, pouring them both tea. Tell me about this other world. About this girl who has captured your heart. And Naruto did. He told Kakashi everything. About the Loud family taking him in, about teaching them chakra, about fighting together, about falling in love with Lori. He talked for hours, and Kakashi listened without interrupting. She sounds wonderful, Kakashi finally said. And it sounds like you have found something there that you never had here. What do you mean? Naruto asked. Peace, Kakashi said simply. Here, you're the hero. The Jinchuriki. The future Hokage. You are never just Naruto. But there, with them, you can be. You can just be a person, not a symbol. Is that wrong? Naruto asked. Wanting that. Not at all, Kakashi said. Naruto, I am going to tell you something I probably should have told you years ago. Being Hokage is not about power or recognition. It is about sacrifice. It is about putting the village before yourself, every single day, for the rest of your life. It is the most important job in the world, but it is also one of the loneliest. I know that, Naruto said. Do you? Kakashi challenged. Because from what you have told me, this other life, with Lori and her family, it is everything you ever wanted. A family. Acceptance. Love. The chance to just be yourself. If you come back here and become Hokage, you are giving all of that up. So you think I should stay there? Naruto asked. I think you should choose what makes you happy, Kakashi said. And I think you should do it without guilt. You do not owe this village your entire life, Naruto. You have already given us more than we had any right to ask. But what about my dream? Naruto asked. What about becoming Hokage, having everyone acknowledge me? They already acknowledge you, Kakashi pointed out. You are a hero multiple times over. As for being Hokage, there are other good candidates. Shikamaru is brilliant. Sakura is beloved. Even Konohamaru is showing leadership potential. The village will be fine without you. I need to think about this, Naruto said. Take all the time you need, Kakashi said. But Naruto, whatever you decide, make sure it is what you want, not what you think everyone else wants. Over the next 3 days, Naruto spent time with his friends, reconnecting, catching up on what he had missed. He trained with Sasuke, sparred with Sakura, strategized with Shikamaru. He visited his favorite places, ate at Ichiraku Ramen, walked the streets of his village. And through it all, he felt like a visitor. Like someone looking at his old life through glass, able to see it but not quite touch it anymore. On the third night, he sat on the Hokage monument, looking out over Konoha as the sun set. This village had been his entire world once. He had fought for it, bled for it, nearly died for it countless times. But it was not his world anymore. Sasuke found him there, as Naruto had known he would. You are going back, Sasuke said. It was not a question. Yeah, Naruto said. I am. This village, these people, they will always be important to me. But my life is there now. With Lori, with the Loud family. That is where I belong. What about being Hokage? Sasuke asked. It was a good dream, Naruto said. But dreams change. People change. I am not the same person who made that promise all those years ago. I have found something better than recognition or title. I have found a place where I matter just for being me. I am happy for you, Sasuke said, and he meant it. But Naruto, if you are going to leave, you need to do it properly. You cannot just disappear. The village deserves a real goodbye. You are right, Naruto said. Will you help me? Always, Sasuke said. The next day, Naruto called a village meeting. It seemed like everyone showed up, the streets packed with people who wanted to see the returning hero. Naruto stood on a platform in the center of the village, looking out at all the faces he had known his entire life. People who had hated him as a child, people who had come to love him as an adult. His friends, his mentors, his family. Thank you all for coming, he began, his voice carrying over the crowd. I know there have been a lot of rumors about where I have been, what I have been doing. I want to set the record straight. He told them everything, holding nothing back. About the dimensional travel, about the Loud family, about the life he had built there. About falling in love. About finding peace. I know many of you were expecting me to come back and eventually become Hokage, Naruto said. It was my dream for a long time. But I have realized that dreams can change, and that is okay. I am not abandoning this village. I will always be a shinobi of Konoha. But my life, my heart, they are somewhere else now. The crowd was silent, processing this information. Then Shikamaru stepped forward. So you are choosing them over us? He asked, not accusatory, just seeking clarification. I am choosing to be happy, Naruto said. And I am asking you all to understand and support that choice. I have given everything to this village. I think I have earned the right to live my life on my own terms. There was a murmur through the crowd, people talking among themselves. Then Sakura stepped forward. Of course you have, she said loudly. Naruto, you have saved this village more times than anyone can count. You do not owe us anything more. If you have found happiness somewhere else, then we should be celebrating, not guilting you into staying. Others began to voice their agreement. Not everyone was happy about it, but most people understood. Naruto had been a hero, had fulfilled his duty 1,000 times over. He had earned his freedom. Kakashi stood and addressed the crowd. Naruto Uzumaki will always be a shinobi of the Hidden Leaf, no matter where he lives. And this village will always be his home if he wants to return. But we cannot ask him to sacrifice his happiness for our comfort. Let him go with our blessing." The crowd erupted in applause, and Naruto felt tears streaming down his face. This was closure. This was permission to move on. This was everything he had needed. After the meeting, he spent one more night in Konoha, saying private goodbyes to those closest to him. Sakura hugged him tight and told him to be happy. Shikamaru gave him a chess set and told him to stay sharp. Konohamaru cried and made Naruto promise to visit sometimes. And Sasuke, his best friend, his brother, pulled him aside for one final conversation. "I am going to set up a permanent portal," Sasuke said, "between here and Royal Woods. It will be maintained by my Rinnegan and some sealing jutsu I have been developing. You will be able to visit whenever you want. And we will be able to reach you if we truly need you." "Sasuke, that is incredible," Naruto said. "But is not it dangerous? Keeping a portal open permanently?" "I will manage the risk," Sasuke said. "You are my best friend, Naruto. I am not losing you just because you live in another dimension. Besides, I am curious about this Loud family. They must be special to have earned your loyalty." "They are," Naruto said warmly. "You will like them. Especially Lori. She is smart and strong, and she does not take crap from anyone." "She sounds perfect for you," Sasuke said with a rare smile. "Now go. They are waiting for you." Naruto stepped through the portal Sasuke opened, his heart lighter than it had been in days. He was going home. To Lori, to Team Loud, to the life he had chosen. He emerged in the Loud family's backyard to find them all waiting. They must have felt the dimensional energy spike, knowing he was coming back. Lori was at the front of the group, her eyes red from crying, but her expression hopeful. "You came back," she breathed. "I promise," Naruto said simply, and then she was in his arms, kissing him with everything she had, months of fear and worry and love pouring into that single moment. When they finally broke apart, the rest of Team Loud descended on him, everyone talking at once, hugging him, welcoming him home. "Did you settle things?" Lina asked. "All settled," Naruto confirmed. "I am here to stay. This is my home now." "What about being Hokage?" Lin Jr. asked. "That was an old dream," Naruto said. "I have new dreams now. Better ones. Ones that include all of you." Rita and Lin Sr. were watching from the porch, both smiling through tears. "Welcome home, son," Lin Sr. said, and Naruto felt his heart swell. Son. Family. Home. That night, after everyone had gone to bed, Naruto and Lori sat on the porch, wrapped in each other's arms. "I was so scared you would not come back," Lori admitted. "I will always come back to you," Naruto promised. "Lori, you are my future. You and your family, this life we are building together. Nothing in any dimension is more important than that." "I love you, Naruto Uzumaki," Lori said. "I love you too, Lori Loud," Naruto replied. "And I am never leaving again. Not permanently. This is where I belong." They sat together under the stars, planning their future, dreaming their dreams. It would not be easy. There would still be threats, still be challenges. The Dimensional Council would likely send more agents. Other organizations would continue to be interested in their abilities. But they would face it all together. Team Loud, stronger and more unified than ever, with Naruto as a permanent member rather than a temporary guest. He had found his place in the world. Or rather, his place between worlds. And he could not imagine being anywhere else. The weeks following Naruto's return were some of the happiest of his life. He had made his choice, committed fully to his new life in Royal Woods, and the weight of uncertainty that had been hanging over him finally lifted. The portal Sasuke had established allowed for occasional visits to Konoha, but Naruto's heart and home were firmly with the Loud family now. Training continued, but it took on a different character. It was no longer desperate preparation for an uncertain future, but rather the natural continuation of their growth as warriors and as people. Naruto found joy in teaching that he had never experienced before, watching his students surpass his expectations again and again. Lori had become truly formidable. Her Rasengan was now strong enough to match Naruto's own, and she had developed several variations that played to her strategic strengths. She could form it one-handed, allowing her to use kunai or hand seals with the other. She had created a delayed detonation version that would explode several seconds after impact, perfect for tactical retreats. And most impressively, she had begun working on combining the Rasengan with shadow clones, a technique that even Naruto had struggled to master. Lin Jr.'s Taijutsu had evolved to the point where she could hold her own against Naruto in pure hand-to-hand combat for extended periods. Her speed and strength, enhanced by chakra and years of athletic training, made her a terror in close quarters. She had also begun developing her own signature technique, something she called the Storm Rush, which combined rapid strikes with chakra bursts that created small shockwaves with each hit. Lina's sound manipulation had reached levels that bordered on the supernatural. She could create sonic constructs, temporary barriers of compressed sound waves that could block physical attacks. Her offensive techniques had expanded to include frequency attacks that could disrupt an opponent's equilibrium, or even stop their heart if she used enough power. She had also discovered she could use sound to enhance the team's communication in combat, creating a network of subtle vibrations that let them coordinate without speaking. Lucy had become a true Genjutsu specialist. While she lacked the Sharingan that made the Uchiha clan so feared in Naruto's world, she had natural talent for illusions that played on fear and darkness. Combined with her stealth abilities, she could make opponents question their own senses, see threats that were not there, miss dangers that were. Naruto had started calling her the Shadow Mistress, a title she wore with quite pride. The younger Louds had developed their own specializations as well. Lisa's scientific approach to chakra had yielded impressive results. She had created chakra-conducting technology that could store and release energy, essentially giving non-chakra users the ability to perform basic techniques. Her defensive shields could now stop anything short of a direct Rasengan hit, and she was working on offensive applications as well. Lana's trap-making had evolved into something approaching an art form. She could set up defensive perimeters in minutes that would take professional security teams hours to deploy. Her mechanical knowledge combined with chakra principles to create devices that seemed impossible by this world's standards. She had even begun experimenting with automated defenses, machines that could respond to threats without human input. Lola had surprised everyone by developing a talent for transformation jutsu and disguise. Her pageant training gave her an innate understanding of appearance and presentation, which translated perfectly to infiltration work. She could become anyone, adopt any persona, and maintain the deception even under pressure. Combined with her natural charm, she had become the team's go-to person for intelligence gathering and social engineering. Lincoln's tactical abilities had grown to rival those of Shikamaru from Naruto's world. He could process multiple variables simultaneously, predict enemy movement several steps ahead, and coordinate complex operations with minimal communication. He had also begun studying Fuinjutsu, the sealing arts, finding that his analytical mind was well suited to the precise, mathematical nature of seal work. Even Lini had found her place. While she would never be a frontline fighter, her knowledge of materials and her genuine kindness made her invaluable for other reasons. She created disguises that were functionally perfect, designed armor that was both protective and fashionable, and had a talent for reading people that complemented her sister's more aggressive intelligence-gathering methods. Rita and Lin Sr. had become competent enough to defend themselves in the house if needed. They would never be shinobi-level fighters, but they could handle basic threats, and more importantly, they provided emotional support and stability for the younger members of the team. The house itself had been further fortified. Lisa had installed a chakra-based alarm system that could detect threats within a 3-mile radius. The walls had been reinforced with chakra-conducting materials that could absorb and redirect energy attacks. Hidden compartments throughout the house contained weapons, supplies, and emergency equipment. There was even a panic room in the basement, equipped with enough provisions to survive a siege for weeks if necessary. To the outside world, there remained the loud, chaotic Loud family. They attended school and work, participated in community events, maintained their normal routines. But underneath that normalcy was a combat-ready team that could mobilize at a moment's notice. Morrison's agency continued to monitor them, but the relationship had evolved into something approaching genuine cooperation. Sarah Chen visited regularly, providing intelligence on potential threats and serving as their liaison to the government. In exchange, Team Loud occasionally consulted on matters related to dimensional phenomena or helped deal with threats that normal security forces could not handle. It was during one of Sarah's visits, about 2 months after Naruto's permanent return, that the next major complication arose. "We have a problem," Sarah said without preamble, laying out a series of photographs on the Loud family's dining room table. "These are surveillance images from the past 3 weeks. Notice anything unusual?" The family gathered around, studying the images. They showed various locations around Royal Woods and the surrounding areas, seemingly normal street scenes and public places. "I do not see anything," Lini said, squinting at the photos. "Look closer," Sarah said, pointing to specific individuals in the images. "These people appear in multiple locations across different days. And if you enhance the images." Lisa pulled out her tablet and began processing the images with advanced analysis software. Within seconds, she had highlighted several individuals who appeared in multiple photos, always in the background, always watching. "Surveillance," Naruto said grimly. "Professional too. They are rotating personnel, maintaining distance, using natural cover. This is not amateur hour." "Exactly," Sarah confirmed. "We have identified at least 30 different individuals conducting surveillance on you and your family over the past month. They are good enough that our people did not spot them until recently." "Who are they working for?" Lori asked. "That is the concerning part," Sarah said. "We do not know. The surveillance network is too sophisticated to be a single organization. We think there are at least 3 separate groups watching you, possibly more." "Why now?" Lincoln asked. "We have been keeping a low profile. We have not done anything to attract this level of attention." "Your confrontation with Zargath," Lisa said, understanding dawning. "It was witnessed by civilians. Video was posted online before we could contain it. And while we managed to get most of it taken down, enough people saw it to generate serious interest. So now everyone knows we are not normal, Lin Jr. said. Not everyone, Sir corrected. But the people who pay attention to these things, the organizations that look for individuals with unusual abilities, they know. And they are all trying to figure out what you are and how they can use you. Or eliminate us if they decide we are too dangerous, Lucy added in her monotone. That is a possibility, Sarah admitted. Which is why I am here to warn you. Things are about to escalate. More people are going to come for you, with different agendas. Some will want to recruit you. Some will want to study you. And some will want to eliminate you as a potential threat. So what do we do? Rita asked, worry clear in her voice. You prepare, Sarah said. Increase security, vary your routines, stay alert. And most importantly, you decide what you want to do long term. Because this is not going away. You are too valuable, too interesting, to be left alone. After Sarah left, the family held an emergency meeting to discuss their options. We could go public, Lori suggested. Announce our abilities, control the narrative. If we are too visible, it might be harder for hostile groups to make a move. Or it makes us an even bigger target, Lin Jr. countered. Every crazy person in the world would come after us. We could relocate, Lincoln said. Find somewhere more remote, somewhere we could defend more easily. And abandon our lives here. Luna protested. Our friends, our school, everything we have built. That does not seem fair. Fair or not, it might be necessary, Lisa said. The mathematics of our situation are not favorable. Even with our current capabilities, we cannot defend against sustained assault from multiple well-funded organizations. Eventually, they will overwhelm us. Then we get stronger, Naruto said firmly. Strong enough that attacking us becomes too costly. Strong enough that we are more valuable as allies than as targets. How do we do that? Lana asked. We evolve, Naruto said. We have been training individually and as a team, but we have not pushed into truly advanced techniques. The kind of abilities that make someone a legend in my world. It is time to change that. What are you proposing? Lori asked. Sage mode, Naruto said. For those who have the aptitude. Advanced elemental manipulation. Forbidden techniques that I have been holding back because they are dangerous. We take our abilities to the next level, become strong enough that no organization in this world would dare move against us openly. That sounds risky, Rita said carefully. It is, Naruto admitted. Some of these techniques can kill the user if performed incorrectly. Others have side effects that can be permanent. But if we are facing the kind of threat Sarah described, we do not have time to play it safe. The family discussed it long into the night. Eventually, they reached a consensus. They would pursue advanced training, but carefully, with proper supervision and safety measures. Those who showed aptitude for specific techniques would focus on those. Those who did not would find other ways to contribute. The next morning, Naruto began the most intensive training regimen he had ever developed. He started by testing each family member's chakra nature, the elemental affinity that would determine which techniques they could most easily learn. Ori showed a strong affinity for wind nature, the same as Naruto. This opened up possibilities for her to learn some of his most powerful techniques, including potentially the Rasen Shuriken. Lin Jr. showed affinity for lightning, which Naruto could help with to a degree, though he admitted Sasuke would be a better teacher. They made plans for her to train with Sasuke during one of his visits. Luna's affinity was surprisingly air-related, but not quite wind. It was something else, something that complemented her sound manipulation perfectly. Naruto theorized it was a variation unique to this dimension. Lucy showed affinity for darkness, which was not an element that existed in Naruto's world. It was another unique aspect of this dimension's chakra system. Naruto had to develop entirely new training methods for her, working with her natural abilities, rather than trying to force her into his world's framework. The younger Louds showed various affinities. Lisa had lightning like Lin, which she approached with scientific fascination. Lana showed earth affinity, perfect for her trap-making and defensive work. Lola showed water affinity, which she initially dismissed as not flashy enough, before Naruto explained that water techniques could be some of the most versatile and powerful. Lincoln showed affinity for multiple elements, which was rare even in Naruto's world. It suggested he might be able to develop combination techniques that use multiple elements simultaneously. Even Lini showed an affinity, though hers was strange. It was not quite any standard element, but something Naruto eventually identified as related to light and perception. It explained her natural talent for disguise and transformation. With affinities identified, the real training began. Naruto pushed them harder than ever before, but always with safety in mind. He had Lisa develop monitoring equipment that could track their chakra levels and physical condition, preventing anyone from pushing too far too fast. Ori's training in Sage mode began in the backyard. Naruto had her sit motionless for hours, learning to sense and absorb natural energy from the environment. It was brutally difficult, requiring patience and stillness that did not come naturally to her active personality. I do not understand, she said after her third failed attempt, frustration clear in her voice. I can mold chakra, I can perform complex techniques, but I cannot just sit still and absorb energy. Because you are trying to control it, Naruto explained. Sage mode is not about control. It is about harmony. You have to stop trying to take the energy and instead let it come to you naturally. That makes no sense, Lori complained. I know, Naruto said with a sympathetic smile. It took me weeks to get it when I was learning. And I had toads helping me. You are doing this without any of the support structure I had. So you are saying I am doing better than you did? Lori asked with a slight grin. Do not push it, Naruto said, but he was smiling too. After 2 weeks of constant practice, Lori finally managed to enter basic Sage mode. It only lasted for about 30 seconds before the natural energy overwhelmed her and forced her out, but it was progress. Her strength and speed increased noticeably during that time, and her sensory abilities expanded to encompass the entire property. That was incredible, she gasped, coming out of Sage mode. I could feel everything. Every person, every animal, every plant. It was like the whole world was connected. Now you understand why it is worth the effort, Naruto said proudly. Keep practicing. Eventually, you will be able to maintain it for minutes, then hours. And when you combine Sage mode with your Rasengan, you will be unstoppable. Lin Jr.'s lightning training with Sasuke during his weekly visits proved to be both productive and entertaining. Sasuke's teaching style was very different from Naruto's, more focused on perfect technique than on volume of practice. Your form is sloppy, Sasuke said bluntly during their first session. You are strong and fast, but you are wasting movement. Lightning techniques require precision. I am plenty precise, Lin Jr. protested. Sasuke simply activated his Sharingan and demonstrated a basic lightning technique with perfect efficiency, every movement economical and effective. Now you try. Lin Jr. attempted to copy what she had seen, but her version was noticeably less refined. Sasuke pointed out a dozen small inefficiencies, corrections that seemed minor, but added up to significant differences in power and control. This is going to be harder than I thought, Lin Jr. admitted. The techniques should be hard, Sasuke said. If they were easy, everyone would use them. Over the following weeks, Lin Jr.'s lightning manipulation improved dramatically under Sasuke's instruction. She learned to channel lightning through her body to increase her speed, to coat her fists in electrical energy for devastating strikes, and eventually to project lightning bolts from her hands. Lin's unique affinity required creative training methods. Naruto eventually theorized that her ability was not standard wind chakra, but something related to vibration and resonance. She was essentially manipulating the fundamental frequencies of matter itself through sound. If I am right, Naruto explained, you are not just creating sound. You are changing how things vibrate at a molecular level. That is why your attacks are so effective. You are literally disrupting the structural integrity of whatever you hit. That is so cool, Luna said, her eyes lighting up. So what can I do with it? Theoretically, almost anything, Naruto said. You could shatter stone, boil water, maybe even phase through solid objects if you match your vibration to theirs. But it is going to take a lot of practice and precision to control. Luna threw herself into the training with characteristic enthusiasm. She experimented with different frequencies, different resonance patterns, different applications of her unique ability. She discovered she could use specific tones to accelerate healing, other tones to induce sleep or unconsciousness, and still others that could cause intense pain without permanent damage. I am like a walking medical and combat system, she said excitedly. I can heal or hurt with just the right notes. Lucy's darkness affinity proved to be the most mysterious. It was not an element that existed in Naruto's world, and he had to study it carefully to understand how to train her effectively. Eventually, he realized that Lucy's darkness was not absence of light, but rather the shadow of reality itself. She was manipulating the space between what was real and what was perceived, existing in the gaps. That is incredibly powerful, Naruto said, somewhat awed. Lucy, if you master this, you could become untouchable. Literally. You could exist in the shadows, move between them, maybe even travel through them. That sounds appropriately ominous, Lucy said in her monotone. I approve. Their training focused on pushing the boundaries of what was possible with shadow manipulation. She learned to merge completely with shadows, becoming invisible and intangible. She learned to extend her senses through shadow networks, seeing and hearing through any shadow connected to one she was touching. She even began experimenting with shadow clones, not duplicates like Naruto's, but actual projections of herself through shadow space. The younger Loud's training progressed at different paces. Lisa approached her lightning affinity with scientific rigor, developing precise control that lacked raw power, but made up for it in efficiency. She created techniques that combined lightning with her technology, essentially building a whole new field of electrochakra engineering. Lana's earth affinity proved perfect for her interests. She learned to sense vibrations through the ground, to reshape terrain for tactical advantage, and to create defensive walls and barriers from raw earth. Combined with her mechanical skills, she began building automated defense systems that used earth manipulation to respond to threats. Lola's water affinity developed in unexpected directions. She discovered she could use water techniques for more than combat. Water could be shaped, frozen into intricate forms, used to create beautiful displays. She began incorporating her water manipulation into her pageant performances, creating stunning visual effects that captivated audiences. This is not just about fighting, she explained when Lin Jr. teased her about it. This is about showing people what we can do in a positive way. Making them see us as artists and creators, not just weapons. Lincoln's multi-elemental affinity opened up possibilities for combination techniques that even Naruto found impressive. He began developing jutsu that mix fire and wind for devastating firestorms, earth and water for mudslides, lightning and water for electrified attacks. His analytical mind let him see combinations that would never occur to more intuitive fighters. Lini's light and perception affinity manifested in fascinating ways. She could create illusions that were not genjutsu, but actual manipulations of light and perception. She could bend light to become invisible, project images that seemed completely real, even make people see things that were not there without using chakra on them directly. I am not tricking their minds, she explained to Lisa, who was fascinated by the mechanics. I am changing what the light shows them. It is like Photoshop, but real-time and with actual light. As the training intensified, so did the surveillance. Sarah's warnings proved accurate. More groups were watching, more questions were being asked, and the pressure was mounting for Team Loud to reveal themselves or be revealed. The situation came to a head 3 months after Naruto's permanent return. It was a Saturday afternoon, and most of the family was at the local mall. It should have been a normal outing, a chance to relax and enjoy some downtime. Instead, it became a demonstration of how far they had come, and how much further they still had to go. The attack came without warning. One moment, the family was browsing stores and chatting normally. The next, the entire mall went dark, emergency lights flickering on to reveal dozens of armed figures surrounding them. "Do not move," a voice commanded over the mall's POS system. "Naruto Uzumaki and the Loud family, you are surrounded. We have no desire to hurt innocent civilians. Surrender peacefully and come with us." "Who are you?" Naruto called out, already analyzing the situation. Approximately 40 hostiles, professional equipment, coordinated positioning. This was not a random attack. "We represent several interested parties," the voice said. "You have abilities that could change the world. We intend to study those abilities, understand them, replicate them. You can cooperate voluntarily, or we can take you by force. The choice is yours." Naruto looked at Lori, who was already subtly signaling the rest of the team using hand signs they had developed. Lincoln was calculating angles and positions, his tactical mind working overtime. Lina had her hand on her ever-present guitar. Lucy had already started to fade into the shadows. "You are making a mistake," Naruto said calmly. "We do not want to hurt anyone. Just let the civilians go and walk away. No one has to get hurt." "That is not an option," the voice said. "You have 10 seconds to surrender. After that, we will use force. 10, 9, 8. "Do not say I did not warn you," Naruto muttered. Then, louder, Team Loud, defensive formation Sigma. Protect the civilians. What happened next would be talked about for years. Lori activated her partial Sage mode, her strength and speed increasing dramatically. She moved through the attackers like a tornado, her Rasengan taking down multiple hostiles with each strike. But she was careful, pulling her punches, ensuring she disabled rather than killed. Lin Jr. channeled lightning through her body, moving so fast she was nearly a blur. She targeted the attackers' weapons, destroying guns and equipment with precise strikes, while avoiding lethal force. Lina played a chord that sent a wave of concussive sound rippling through the mall. The attackers stumbled, disoriented, while the civilians were protected by a careful modulation of the frequency that only affected those with hostile intent. Lucy emerged from the shadows behind several attackers, using precise pressure point strikes to render them unconscious, before they even knew she was there. She moved like a ghost, untouchable, unseen until it was too late. Lisa activated defensive shields from technology she wore hidden in her clothing, creating barriers that protected civilians from stray attacks. She also deployed small drones that began jamming communications and surveillance equipment. Lana triggered traps she had somehow set up during their shopping trip, anticipating the possibility of an attack. Nets dropped from ceiling vents, smoke bombs created cover, and several attackers found themselves stuck to the floor with adhesive compounds. Lola used her water manipulation to create a mist that obscured vision, while somehow leaving Team Loud's side unaffected. She moved through the confusion, disabling attackers with precise water whips that hit with incredible force, but caused no permanent damage. Lincoln coordinated it all from a central position, his voice calm and clear as he directed team members to where they were needed most. He also used his multi-elemental techniques to create obstacles and diversions, controlling the battlefield. Lini created light illusions that made it impossible for the attackers to target Team Loud effectively. Clones appeared and disappeared, attacks seemed to come from multiple directions, and the whole mall became a confusing maze of light and shadow. And Naruto was everywhere at once, his shadow clones protecting civilians, evacuating people to safety, and taking down any attackers who got too close to hurting innocents. He moved with the ease of someone who had fought in wars, his experience evident in every economical movement. The entire fight lasted less than 3 minutes. By the end, all 40 attackers were disabled, disarmed, and secured. Not a single civilian had been seriously hurt, though many were terrified and confused. As sirens approached, signaling the arrival of law enforcement and Morrison's agency, Naruto looked around at his team. They had fought perfectly, each member playing their role, protecting innocents while neutralizing threats. They had become something truly special. "Everyone okay?" he asked. The chorus of affirmatives came back. A few minor injuries, some torn clothing, but nothing serious. "We could not avoid this one," Lori said quietly, looking at the unconscious attackers and the gathering crowd of civilians recording everything on their phones. Everyone saw. "This is going to be everywhere by tonight." "I know," Naruto said. "But we did the right thing. We protected people. Whatever comes next, we face it together." Morrison arrived within 10 minutes, his team moving with practiced efficiency to secure the scene and begin controlling the narrative. But even he looked overwhelmed by the scale of what had happened. He just fought 40 armed hostiles in a public space and won without killing anyone or letting civilians get hurt, he said, shaking his head in amazement. "That is not just impressive. That is unprecedented." "We trained for this," Naruto said simply. "I can see that," Morrison said. He looked around at the mall, at the evidence of the fight, at the recordings that were already spreading across social media. "But Naruto, you understand what this means, right? You cannot hide anymore. Everyone is going to know what you can do. The questions, the pressure, the tension, it is all going to intensify." "Then we deal with it," Lori said firmly, standing beside Naruto. "We are not hiding anymore. We are not apologizing for being strong. People can accept us or not, but we are not going to live in fear." Morrison studied her for a long moment. "You have changed," he said. "All of you. When I first met you, you were scared kids trying to hide something you did not understand. Now you are warriors." "What happened?" "We decided to stop being victims," Lin Jr. said. "We decided to be strong enough that no one could make us afraid." "Well, you succeeded," Morrison said. "But success comes with consequences. Are you ready for what comes next?" "No," Naruto admitted. "But we will face it anyway. That is what it means to be Team Loud." The aftermath of the mall incident was exactly as chaotic as they had feared. Video of the fight went viral within hours, viewed millions of times across social media platforms. News stations ran segments analyzing the footage, experts debated what they had witnessed, conspiracy theories spread like wildfire. Some people saw Team Loud as heroes, defenders who had protected innocent people from armed attackers. Others saw them as dangerous vigilantes with unchecked power. Still others insisted the whole thing was an elaborate hoax, special effects and staged combat. The truth, as Sarah explained during an emergency meeting at their house, was somewhere in between. "Public opinion is split," she said, showing them polling data on her tablet. 40% view you favorably, seeing you as heroes or at least neutral actors. 30% view you negatively, seeing you as a potential threat. 30% are undecided or think it is all fake. "What does that mean for us practically?" Lincoln asked. "It means you are now public figures whether you want to be or not," Sarah said. "You need to control your narrative before someone else does it for you. Press conferences, interviews, public statements. You need to show people who you really are." "We are just a family," Rita protested. "We should not have to justify our existence to anyone." "You are not just a family anymore, Mrs. Loud," Sarah said gently. "You are people with extraordinary abilities operating outside normal legal frameworks. The public has a right to know about you, and you have an obligation to be transparent about what you can do and how you intend to use those abilities." The family debated long into the night. Some wanted to maintain privacy despite everything. Others recognized that Sarah was right, that they needed to control their own story. Eventually, they reached a decision. They would hold a press conference, answer questions honestly within reason, and make it clear that they had no intention of threatening anyone, but also would not be pushed around or forced to hide. The press conference was held at a neutral location, a hotel conference room, with both Morrison's agency and local law enforcement providing security. Every major news outlet sent representatives, along with independent journalists, bloggers, and curious citizens. The Loud family sat at a long table facing a sea of cameras and reporters. Naruto was at the center, with Lori on his right and Rita and Lin Sr. on his left. The other siblings flanked them, presenting a united front. Naruto spoke first, his voice clear and steady. "Thank you all for coming. My name is Naruto Uzumaki, and I am from another dimension. About 6 months ago, I was pulled from my world into this one through a dimensional accident. The Loud family found me, took me in, and helped me adapt to this world. In gratitude and out of necessity, I taught them abilities from my world, techniques that allow us to defend ourselves and others. What you saw at the mall was us using those abilities to protect innocent people from armed attackers. That is who we are. Protectors, not threats." The room exploded with questions, reporters shouting over each other. Lincoln, acting as moderator, pointed to one reporter. "Where exactly are you from? What dimension?" "I am from a world similar to this one, but with some key differences," Naruto explained. "In my world, there are people called shinobi who can manipulate life energy, which we call chakra. I was trained as a shinobi from childhood." Another reporter. "What are your intentions here? Are you planning to take over or impose your world system on ours?" "Absolutely not," Naruto said firmly. "I just want to live in peace. The Loud family wants the same. We have no political ambitions, no desire to change your world. We just want to be left alone to live our lives. But you cannot deny that your abilities make you dangerous, another reporter pressed. What is to stop you from using those abilities for your own gain or to hurt people? Lori leaned forward to answer that one. The same thing that stops anyone from hurting people. Morality, empathy, and consequences. We were raised to help people, not hurt them. Every time we have used our abilities in public, it has been to protect others. That is not going to change. The questions continued for over an hour. They asked about specific abilities, about the extent of their power, about their relationship with the government, about their plans for the future. Team Loud answered as honestly as they could without revealing anything that could be used against them. Near the end, a reporter asked a question that cut to the heart of the matter. You say you just want to live in peace. But your very existence challenges the natural order. You can do things that should not be possible. How are normal people supposed to feel safe knowing you exist? There was silence for a moment. Then Rita spoke up, her mom voice brooking no argument. My family has always been loud, chaotic, and different. Even before Naruto came into our lives, we stood out. And you know what? We have never hurt anyone. We have helped our neighbors, contributed to our community, lived as good citizens. Having abilities does not change that. We are still the same people we always were. We just have the power to protect ourselves and others now. If that makes you uncomfortable, that is something you need to work through. We are not going to apologize for existing. The room was quiet, digesting that. Then, surprisingly, several reporters began to clap. It spread through the room, not universal approval, but recognition of honest truth spoken with conviction. The press conference ended shortly after. The family left through a side exit, exhausted, but feeling like they had done the best they could. That went better than expected, Lincoln observed in the car ride home. But worse, Lizzie countered. We have revealed ourselves completely. There is no going back now. There was no going back the moment we fought at the mall, Lisa said. This was inevitable. At least we controlled the narrative. Back at home, they monitored the response to the press conference. Public opinion shifted slightly in their favor, with more people expressing support or at least acceptance. But there were still plenty of detractors, people who feared what Team Loud represented. That night, as Naruto and Lori sat on their usual spot on the porch, she asked him the question that had been on both their minds. Do you regret it? Coming here, teaching us, creating all this chaos? Naruto thought about it carefully. No. I regret the danger you are all in because of me. I regret that you lost your privacy and normalcy. But I do not regret being here. I do not regret falling in love with you. This life, chaotic and dangerous as it is still better than anything I imagined having. Good answer, Lori said, leaning against him. Because I do not regret any of it either. Yes, our lives are crazy now. Yes, we are under constant scrutiny and threat. But we are also strong. We are together. We have purpose. That matters more than safety ever could. They sat in comfortable silence, watching the stars, both aware that their lives would never be simple or easy again. But they faced the future together, and that made all the difference. Inside the house, the rest of Team Loud was settling in for the night. Luna was composing a song about their press conference. Lin Jr. was reviewing footage of the mall fight, analyzing her own performance with a critical eye. Lucy was writing poetry about the nature of public perception and hidden truths. Lisa was monitoring dozens of data streams, tracking public opinion, government response, and potential threats. Lincoln was updating their tactical plans to account for new variables introduced by their public revelation. The younger Louds were processing everything in their own ways, adapting to their new reality as public figures. Rita and Lin Sr. watched their children, these extraordinary people who had once been normal kids, and felt a complex mix of pride and fear. They had raised these children to be strong, independent, capable. They just had not expected them to become this capable. We did good, Lin Sr. said quietly. We did, Rita agreed. And whatever comes next, they will handle it. They are Louds. We do not quit. As the house settled into sleep, none of them aware that halfway across the country, in a nondescript office building, people were watching the same footage of the mall fight and the press conference. But these people were not government agents or journalists. They were something else. Something that saw Team Loud not as a threat or curiosity, but as an opportunity. And they were making plans. Plans that would test Team Loud like never before. Plans that would force them to make impossible choices. Plans that would determine not just their fate, but potentially the fate of multiple dimensions. The storm they had been preparing for was finally here. And it was worse than any of them had imagined. The weeks following the press conference were a whirlwind of change. Team Loud found themselves thrust into the spotlight in ways they had never anticipated. Reporters camped out on their street, hoping for interviews or candid footage. Social media was flooded with speculation, fan theories, and debates about what their existence meant for the world. The family adapted as best they could. They established strict protocols for dealing with the media, designating Lincoln as their official spokesperson for routine inquiries, while more serious matters were handled through Morrison's agency. They varied their routes to school and work, installed additional security measures, and learned to live with the constant awareness of being watched. But the attention brought unexpected opportunities as well. Lin Jr. was approached by Olympic training programs, her enhanced athletic abilities, making her a potential world record holder in multiple sports. Luna received offers from major record labels, though she turned them down, preferring to maintain creative control over her music. Even Lola found that her pageant career had exploded, with sponsors and competition organizers eager to associate with the superpowered beauty queen. Lisa's scientific work attracted attention from universities and research institutions worldwide. She was careful about what she shared, but she did begin publishing papers on theoretical physics and energy manipulation that caused waves in academic circles. At 15, she was being courted by MIT, Stanford, and other prestigious institutions. Through it all, training continued. If anything, it intensified. The public revelation meant that their abilities were now common knowledge, which meant potential enemies had better intelligence about what they could do. They needed to stay ahead, to keep evolving, to ensure they maintained their advantage. It was during an early morning training session, about a month after the press conference, that Naruto noticed something concerning about Lori. She was pushing herself harder than usual, her Sage Mode training extending well beyond safe limits. "Lori, that is enough," he called out. "You are going to burn out your chakra pathways if you keep going." "I can handle it," she said, not breaking her meditation stance. Sweat poured down her face, and her hands were trembling with the effort of controlling the natural energy flowing through her. "You're being reckless," Naruto insisted, walking over to her. "I have seen shinobi permanently damage themselves trying to push Sage Mode too far. You need to rest." "I need to be stronger," Lori shot back, her eyes opening to reveal the distinctive markings of Sage Mode around them. "People are depending on me. My family is depending on me. I cannot afford to be weak." "You are not weak," Naruto said gently. "You are one of the strongest people I know. But strength is not just about power. It is about knowing your limits." "My limits keep getting us into trouble," Lori said, and there was frustration and fear in her voice. "Every time we face a new threat, I feel like I am barely keeping up. What if next time I am not fast enough? What if someone gets hurt because I was not strong enough to protect them?" Naruto understood the feeling all too well. He had carried that same fear for years, the terror that his strength would not be enough when it mattered most. "Come here," he said, pulling her to her feet and into his arms. She resisted for a moment, then collapsed against him, the Sage Mode dropping as her emotional control wavered. "I am scared," she admitted quietly. "We have made so many enemies. The Dimensional Council, hostile organizations, who knows what else. And everyone is counting on me to help lead, to help protect them. What if I fail? Then I will be there to catch you," Naruto said firmly. "And you will be there to catch me when I fail. That is what partners do. We do not have to be perfect, Lori. We just have to be there for each other." She was quiet for a long moment, processing that. Then she looked up at him, tears in her eyes. "I love you so much it terrifies me. The thought of losing you, of something happening to you because I was not good enough, I cannot handle it." "You are not going to lose me," Naruto promised. "I am not going anywhere. We are in this together, remember? For better or worse." "For better or worse," she repeated, managing a small smile. "That sounds like a wedding vow." "Maybe it should be," Naruto said, the words coming out before he could stop them. Lori's eyes widened. "What?" Naruto realized what he had just implied and felt his face heat up. "I mean, not right now. We are young, and things are complicated, and there is so much going on. But eventually, when things settle down, if they ever settle down, I could see myself." "Naruto Uzumaki, are you trying to propose to me?" Lori asked, a genuine smile breaking through her tears. "Maybe," Naruto said, completely flustered. "I do not know, I was not planning this, it just came out. But yeah, I guess I am saying that I want to spend my life with you. However long that life is, wherever it takes us, I want you there." "That is the worst proposal I have ever heard," Lori said, laughing now. "And I love it. Yes, you idiot. Someday, when things are less insane, ask me properly and I will say yes." They kissed, the fear and stress of the moment transforming into something warmer, more hopeful. When they finally broke apart, both were smiling. "We should probably tell your parents eventually," Naruto said. "Let us survive the next few months first," Lori suggested. "Then we can worry about planning a wedding." Their moment was interrupted by Lisa's voice crackling over their communicators. "Priority alert. Multiple dimensional signatures detected. Distance. 2 miles and closing. Magnitude. Off the scale. This is not a drill." Naruto and Lori exchanged glances and immediately shifted into combat mode. Personal moments would have to wait. They had a family to protect. They raced back to the house where the rest of Team Loud was already assembling. Lisa had projection screens showing data streams and energy readings. "Talk to me, Lisa," Naruto said, studying the displays. "What are we looking at?" "Multiple dimensional breaches," Lisa explained, her voice tight with stress. "At least 6 separate portals opening simultaneously in a coordinated pattern. The energy signatures are consistent with advanced dimensional travel technology, far beyond what we have seen before." "The Dimensional Council," Lucy said in her flat monotone. "They are making their move." "Possibly," Lisa agreed. "But the signatures are different from Zargath's." These are more refined, more controlled. Whoever is coming through knows exactly what they are doing. How long until they arrive? Lincoln asked, already pulling up tactical maps on his tablet. Portals are stabilizing now, Lisa said. We have maybe 5 minutes before whatever is coming through actually emerges. Not enough time to evacuate civilians from the area, Lincoln muttered, running calculations. We will have to contain this here. Everyone to defensive positions, Naruto ordered. Full combat gear, full readiness. Rita, Lin Sr., get Lily to the safe room and activate all defenses. Everyone else, standard formation. We hold them here, protect the neighborhood, and try to avoid civilian casualties. The family moved with practiced efficiency, each member knowing their role. Within 2 minutes, they were positioned around the property in a defensive perimeter that would have impressed professional military tacticians. The portals opened exactly on schedule, 6 swirling vortexes of purple and gold energy, appearing in a hexagonal pattern around the loud property. And through them stepped figures that made Naruto's heart sink. They were not monsters or shadowy creatures. They were human, or at least humanoid. 6 individuals, each wearing armor that looked like it was woven from starlight and shadow. Their faces were hidden behind helmets that displayed no features, just smooth surfaces that reflected their surroundings. But it was what Naruto sensed from them that worried him most. Chakra. Massive amounts of it, refined and controlled in ways that spoke of decades of training. These were not random attackers or desperate bounty hunters. These were elite warriors. One of them stepped forward, and when they spoke, their voice resonated with harmonics that suggested it was being translated from something else. Naruto Uzumaki. Loud family. We are the arbiters of the Dimensional Council. We have come to render judgment upon you. Judgment for what? Lori called out, her voice steady, despite the fear Naruto could sense from her. We have not broken any laws. You exist in violation of cosmic order, the arbiter said. Naruto Uzumaki's presence in this dimension has created cascading instabilities across the multiverse. Your family's acquisition of abilities from another reality has further damaged the barriers between worlds. You are a threat to dimensional stability, and you must be neutralized. Define neutralized, Naruto said, though he already knew the answer. Ideally, you would be returned to your home dimension, and the Loud family would have their abilities suppressed, the arbiter said. However, given the extent of dimensional contamination, more permanent solutions may be necessary. You are talking about killing us, Lin Jr. said bluntly. We are talking about preserving the stability of infinite realities, the arbiter corrected. Your lives, while valuable, are insignificant compared to the potential collapse of dimensional barriers. Surely you understand the mathematics. I understand that you are threatening my family, Naruto said, his chakra beginning to flare around him in visible waves. And I do not care how official your authority is or how good your reasons sound. No one touches them. Then you choose conflict, the arbiter said. So be it. Arbiters, engage targets. Minimize collateral damage. Prioritize capture over termination. The 6 arbiters moved as one, their coordination perfect. But Team Loud had been preparing for exactly this kind of threat. Lori activated her Sage mode and engaged the lead arbiter directly, her enhanced Rasengan meeting their energy blade in a clash that sent shockwaves rippling through the air. Lin Jr. channeled lightning through her body and became a blur of motion, her speed allowing her to engage 2 arbiters simultaneously. Lina played a complex melody that created overlapping sonic fields, disrupting the arbiters' coordination and communications. Lucy melted into the shadows and began striking from unexpected angles, her darkness manipulation making her nearly impossible to track. Lisa activated defensive shields and began analyzing the arbiters' combat patterns, feeding tactical data to Lincoln, who coordinated the team's movements with precision. Lana's traps activated, attempting to slow the arbiters' movements, while Wally used water manipulation to create hazards and obstacles. Naruto created hundreds of shadow clones, and threw himself into the fight with everything he had. But he quickly realized these arbiters were different from any opponent he had faced before. They adapted to his techniques almost instantly, countering his shadow clones with precision strikes, avoiding his Rasengan, predicting his movements. They are reading our chakra signatures, Lisa called out, her analytical mind piecing together the pattern. They can predict our moves by sensing our chakra flow. We need to disrupt that somehow. On it, Lina said, modulating her music to create interference in the chakra sensing field. It helped, but not enough. The arbiters were still too coordinated, too powerful, too experienced. The battle raged through the property and into the street. Despite their best efforts, Team Loud was being pushed back. The arbiters were not trying to kill them, which was perhaps the only reason they were still standing, but they were methodically wearing them down. Naruto was fighting the lead arbiter one-on-one now, and even with Sage mode, he was struggling. This opponent moved like Kakashi and Sasuke combined, reading every technique, countering every attack, slowly but surely gaining the upper hand. You fight well, the arbiter said, their voice almost respectful. But you are outmatched. The Dimensional Council has existed for millennia, trained warriors across countless realities. You are talented, but talent alone is not enough. I do not care how long you have existed, Naruto shot back, forming a Rasen Shuriken. You are not taking my family. He threw the technique, the rotating blades of wind chakra screaming through the air. The Arbiter simply raised a hand, and the Rasen shuriken dispersed harmlessly against some kind of energy barrier. Impressive technique, the Arbiter said. But insufficient. They moved faster than Naruto could track, and suddenly he was on the ground, the Arbiter's energy blade at his throat. The Arbiter commanded. Never, Naruto said, and meant it. The Arbiter raised their blade, preparing to strike, and Naruto knew he was about to die. He had failed. He had not been strong enough. His family was going to be captured or killed because he was not good enough. And then something impossible happened. Ori screamed, a sound of pure rage and desperation. Her Sage mode, which had been fluctuating unstably, suddenly stabilized and then exploded beyond anything Naruto had seen. Her chakra erupted around her in a golden aura that lit up the entire street. When she opened her eyes, they were glowing with power that seemed to bend reality itself. Get away from him, she said, and her voice resonated with harmonics that made the Arbiters themselves pause. She moved, and even the Arbiter holding Naruto could not react in time. Her fist connected with their helmet, and the impact created a shockwave that shattered windows 3 houses down. The Arbiter flew backward, crashed through a tree, and lay still. Impossible, another Arbiter breathed. She has achieved Transcendent Sage mode. But that takes decades of training. She has only been practicing for months. Apparently love is a hell of a motivator, Luna said, awed by what she was witnessing. Ori helped Naruto to his feet, her glowing eyes fixed on the remaining Arbiters. You came to my home. You threatened my family. You hurt the person I love. That was a mistake. She attacked before they could respond, moving with speed that exceeded anything Naruto could achieve. Her Rasengan, enhanced by this new level of Sage mode, tore through the Arbiters' defenses like they were paper. Within 30 seconds, 4 of the 6 Arbiters were down, disabled but alive. The last Arbiter, the one who had spoken first, held up their hands in surrender. We yield, they said. We did not anticipate this level of power. The council will need to reassess. You tell the council something for me, Ori said, her voice still resonating with power. We are not going anywhere. This is our home. We have done nothing wrong except exist and refuse to be victims. If they want to fight about that, we will fight. But they better bring their absolute best, because what you saw today. This was us holding back. I will relay your message, the Arbiter said. They opened a portal, gathered their fallen comrades, and retreated. Within seconds, all 6 were gone, leaving Team Loud standing in their destroyed yard, breathing hard, covered in minor injuries, but alive and victorious. The golden aura around Lori flickered and died, and she immediately collapsed. Naruto caught her before she hit the ground. Lori, he said urgently. Are you okay? That was really stupid, she mumbled, her eyes struggling to focus. I pushed way too hard. Everything hurts. You saved us, Naruto said, holding her close. You were incredible. I am going to sleep for a week, Lori said, and then passed out in his arms. Lisa rushed over with her medical equipment, scanning Lori rapidly. Her chakra pathways are severely strained but not permanently damaged. She will need rest and careful monitoring, but she should recover fully. What was that? Lin Jr. asked, looking at where her sister lay unconscious. That power, it was insane. Transcendent Sage mode, Naruto said, still somewhat in shock. It is a level of mastery that most Sage mode users never reach. I have only seen it a few times, always in people who had trained for decades. The fact that Lori achieved it after only months of practice is extraordinary. How does she do it? Luna asked. Emotional trigger, Lisa theorized. She saw Naruto about to be killed, and her desire to protect him pushed her past her normal limits. It is not unlike the stories of parents lifting cars to save their children. Extreme emotion can unlock reserves of power we did not know we had. The question is, can she do it again? Lincoln asked practically. Because if the Dimensional Council sends more Arbiters, we are going to need that level of power. I do not know, Naruto admitted. Transcendent Sage mode is not something you can just turn on and off. It requires perfect balance between physical, spiritual, and natural energy. Most people spend lifetimes trying to achieve it. If Lori can master it, she will be one of the strongest fighters in any dimension. They carried Lori inside and settled her in her room. Rita and Lin Sr., who had watched the whole battle from the safe room's monitors, were pale with worry. My baby, Rita whispered, smoothing Lori's hair back from her face. She is so strong. Too strong. She should not have to carry this burden. None of them should, Lin Sr. agreed, looking at his children, these extraordinary young people who had been thrust into a war they never asked for. But they do. And all we can do is support them. Naruto stayed by Lori's side as she slept, holding her hand, feeling guilty that she had pushed herself so hard to protect him. He should have been stronger. He should have been able to handle the Arbiters on his own. Stop it, came a weak voice. Lori's eyes had opened, and she was looking at him with a mixture of exasperation and affection. I can literally see you spiraling into guilt. I chose to protect you. That was my decision. Do not make it about you. You could have died, Naruto said quietly. So could you, Lori countered. That is the reality we live in now. Any fight could be our last. But I would rather die protecting the people I love than live safely while they get hurt. Would not you? Of course, Naruto admitted. Then stop feeling guilty and start focusing on what matters, Lori said. We won today. We beat the Dimensional Council's arbiters. That is huge. We proved we can defend ourselves against cosmic-level threats. We should be celebrating, not moping. You're right, Naruto said, smiling despite himself. You are always right. It is actually kind of annoying. Get used to it, Lori said, grinning back. If we are really getting married someday, you need to accept that I am going to win every argument. I never agreed to that term, Naruto protested. Too late, you already proposed, Lori said. No take-backs. They were both laughing when the rest of the family crowded into the room, everyone wanting to check on Lori, to celebrate the victory, to process what had just happened. The celebration was cut short by Sarah Chen's arrival an hour later. She looked stressed, more so than Naruto had ever seen her. We have a problem, she said without preamble. Actually, we have about 17 problems, but let me start with the biggest one. She pulled out her tablet and showed them footage from the battle with the arbiters. It had been recorded by dozens of neighbors, and it was already spreading across the internet at viral speeds. The world just watched you fight off beings from another dimension, Sarah said. The footage clearly shows the portals, the arbiters, and most importantly, Lori's transformation into something that looks like a literal goddess of power. The cat is not just out of the bag. The cat is on fire and running through the streets. How bad is the reaction? Lincoln asked. Mixed, Sarah said. A lot of people are calling you heroes. You defended your neighborhood, protected civilians, fought off an invasion from hostile forces. But there is also massive fear. You displayed power levels that exceed anything humanity has seen before. Governments around the world are convening emergency sessions to discuss what you represent and how to respond to you. We are not a threat, Lori said tiredly. We just want to be left alone. I know that, Sarah said. Morrison knows that. But scared people do not always act rationally. There were already calls for international sanctions against the United States for harboring you. Demands that you be turned over to UN custody for monitoring. Proposals to classify you as weapons of mass destruction. That is insane, Luna protested. We are people, not weapons. You are people with the power to level cities, Sarah said bluntly. From a geopolitical standpoint, that makes you weapons whether you like it or not. The fact that you are relatively benevolent weapons does not change the fundamental equation. So what do they want us to do? Lin Jr. asked. Turn ourselves in. Let them lock us up. Some want that, Sarah admitted. But Morrison is working on an alternative. He is proposing that you be recognized as an independent entity, similar to how the Vatican is a sovereign state within Italy. You would have autonomy but also responsibilities. You would agree to certain oversight in exchange for official recognition and protection under international law. That sounds like making ourselves targets, Lisa observed. You're already targets, Sarah pointed out. This just formalizes it in a way that might offer some protection. If you are recognized as a sovereign entity, attacking you becomes an act of war rather than just assault on civilians. It raises the stakes for anyone considering hostile action. The family discussed it for hours, weighing the pros and cons. Eventually, they decided to pursue Morrison's proposal, with significant modifications and conditions. They would accept oversight, but only from a neutral international body, not any single government. They would agree to respond to certain types of global threats, but maintain the right to refuse missions they found unethical. They would allow monitoring of their activities, but maintain strict privacy regarding their personal lives and internal family matters. It took 3 months of negotiations, but eventually, an agreement was reached. Team Loud was officially recognized as an independent entity under international law, the first of its kind. They were not citizens of any nation, but rather extra-national persons with unique capabilities, who had agreed to use their abilities in service of global stability. The recognition came with both benefits and burdens. They had diplomatic immunity, which protected them from arbitrary arrest or detention. They had access to international resources and intelligence networks. But they also had responsibilities to respond to certain types of threats, and to provide periodic demonstrations of their capabilities, to ensure they were not developing offensive abilities beyond what they had agreed to. Through it all, training continued. Lori worked on mastering her Transcendent Sage mode, learning to access it without requiring emotional triggers or life-threatening situations. It was brutally difficult, requiring a level of control and balance that pushed her to her absolute limits. But she persevered, driven by the knowledge that her family's safety might depend on her ability to access this power when needed. Slowly, painfully, she learned to activate it at will, though maintaining it for extended periods remained challenging. The other members of Team Loud developed their own advanced techniques. Lin Jr. finally managed to open the third gate of the 8 gates technique, tripling her already impressive speed and strength. Lina discovered she could use her sound manipulation to create temporary portals through space, though they only lasted seconds and required enormous concentration. Lucy's shadow manipulation reached the point where she could travel through connected shadows across miles. She could emerge from any shadow within a certain radius of one she had marked, essentially giving her instant transportation within her territory. The younger Louds continued to grow as well. Lisa developed combat drones powered by chakra that could fight semi-autonomously, extending her reach in battle. Lana created a system of underground tunnels beneath the property that could be used for quick movement or escape. Lola's water manipulation expanded to include ice techniques that could freeze opponents solid in seconds. Lincoln's multi-elemental abilities evolved to the point where he could create combination attacks that exceeded the sum of their parts. His strategic mind, combined with his growing combat abilities, made him a formidable force, despite not having any single overwhelming technique. Even Lini's unique abilities found combat applications. She could create illusions so realistic that opponents would waste chakra and energy fighting phantoms, or make Team Loud appear to be somewhere they were not, allowing for perfect ambushes. 6 months after the battle with the Arbiters, Team Loud had evolved from a defensive family unit into a coordinated fighting force that could potentially challenge small armies. They had become, in many ways, what Naruto's shinobi villages had been in his world, guardians with power beyond normal human limits. But power always came with a price, and that price was beginning to show itself in unexpected ways. Lori had become distant at times, lost in her own thoughts. The Transcendent Sage mode gave her access to a level of perception that was both blessing and curse. She could sense so much, feel the interconnectedness of all things, and it was overwhelming. It is like being plugged into the universe, she tried to explain to Naruto one night. I can feel everything when I am in that state. Every living thing, every chakra signature, every fluctuation in natural energy. It is beautiful and terrible, and so much that sometimes I do not know how to come back to just being me. Then maybe you should not use it so much, Naruto suggested gently. But what if we need it? Lori asked. What if there is a threat and I am the only one strong enough to stop it, and I cannot access the power because I have been avoiding it? You cannot live your life in constant preparation for the worst case scenario, Naruto said. Trust me, I tried that for years. It just makes you paranoid and isolated. How did you stop? Lori asked. I found people worth living for, not just fighting for, Naruto said. I let myself be happy even though the world was dangerous. I chose to live instead of just survive. You need to do the same. Lori was quiet for a long moment. I am scared, she finally admitted. Scared that if I relax, if I let my guard down, something will happen. Someone will get hurt. And it will be my fault for not being ready. That is not how it works, Naruto said firmly. You cannot be ready for everything. No one can. The best we can do is be strong enough to handle what comes and trust our team to help carry the burden. You do not have to be the strongest all the time. That is why we are a team. When did you get so wise? Lori asked with a slight smile. I learned from the best, Naruto said, pulling her close. A certain stubborn, brilliant, occasionally infuriating girl who refuses to give up on anything or anyone. I love you, Lori said, the words carrying the weight of everything they had been through together. I love you too, Naruto replied. More than I ever thought I could love anyone. They sat together in comfortable silence, drawing strength from each other, preparing for whatever came next. And what came next was perhaps the most unexpected challenge yet. It started with a letter, delivered by conventional mail, rather than any dramatic dimensional portal or mysterious messenger. It was addressed to Naruto Uzumaki, written on fine paper in elegant script. The letter was from Hinata Hyuga. Naruto opened it with trembling hands, aware that Lori was watching him with carefully controlled expression. The letter was brief. Dear Naruto, I hope this letter finds you well in your new home. I wanted to write to let you know that I am okay. It was hard at first, learning that you had found someone else, but I understand now. You deserve happiness, and I am genuinely glad you found it. I am writing for 2 reasons. First, to give you closure. You do not need to feel guilty about me anymore. I have moved on. I have found my own path, my own purpose, and while part of me will always care for you, I am no longer defined by my feelings for you. I am free, and that is a gift I did not know I needed. Second, to warn you. There are factions in Konoha who are not happy about your decision to stay in another dimension. They see it as abandonment, as betrayal of your responsibilities. Some are calling for you to be declared a missing nin, a rogue shinobi. Kakashi is fighting against this, but there is political pressure. I do not know what this means for your future, but I thought you should know. You gave me so much over the years, even if you did not realize it. Consider this my way of returning the favor. Be happy, Naruto. That is all any of us really want. Hinata. Naruto read the letter 3 times, emotions warring in his chest. Relief that Hinata had found peace. Gratitude for the warning. Concern about what it meant for his relationship with Konoha. What does it say? Lori asked gently. Naruto handed her the letter. She read it silently, her expression softening. She seems like a good person, Lori said when she finished. She is, Naruto agreed. One of the best people I know. I wish things could have been different. Do you regret choosing me over her? Lori asked, and Naruto could hear the vulnerability in her voice, despite her attempt to sound casual. Not for a second, Naruto said firmly, taking her hands. Lori, what I feel for you is not the same as what I felt for Hinata. She deserves someone who could love her the way you and I love each other. I could not be that person. That is not a failing on her part or mine. We just were not right for each other. But you are losing your village because of me, Lori said. Your home, your dream, everything you worked for. I am gaining a life, Naruto countered. A real life, with someone I love, doing things that matter. Yes, it hurts to lose Konoha. But Lori, they were asking me to give up you, give up this family, give up the person I have become. I could not do that. Would not do that. What if they declare you a rogue ninja? Lori asked. What does that mean? It means I would be marked for death if I ever return to my world, Naruto said quietly. Former allies would be obligated to hunt me. It would sever all official ties with Konoha. That is not fair, Lori said angrily. You have given them everything. You saved that village more times than they can count. How can they do this to you? Politics, Naruto said with a bitter smile. Some people need an enemy, and I make a convenient one. The hero who abandoned his duty for love. It is a good story. Never mind that it is more complicated than that. We should talk to Sasuke, Lori said. He might be able to help, give you more information about what is happening. Good idea, Naruto agreed. They contacted Sasuke through the permanent portal, and he came through within hours. His expression was grim. The situation in Konoha is worse than Hinata's letter suggests, Sasuke said without preamble. There is a faction led by some of the more traditional elders who want you declared a missing nin. They are arguing that you have abandoned your responsibilities, and that your presence in another dimension represents a security risk. What is Kakashi doing about it? Naruto asked. Fighting it with everything he has, Sasuke said. But his position is complicated. He is trying to modernize Konoha, reduce our reliance on military might, build stronger alliances. The traditionalists see your departure as evidence that his approach is failing. They are using you as a weapon against his policies. So I am a political pawn, Naruto said. You always were, Sasuke said bluntly. Being the Jinchuriki, being the hero, it came with expectations and obligations whether you agreed to them or not. The difference now is that you are choosing yourself over those obligations, and that scares people. What should I do? Naruto asked. That is your decision, Sasuke said. But Naruto, understand that this is not going away. You will have to choose eventually. Konoha or this world. Your old life or your new one. There is no middle ground anymore. Naruto looked at Lori, saw the fear and determination in her eyes, and knew what his choice would be. He had already made it, really, months ago when he had chosen to stay. But now it needed to be official, final, irrevocable. I choose this world, Naruto said firmly. I choose Lori, I choose Team Loud, I choose the life I am building here. If Konoha wants to declare me a rogue ninja, that is their right. But I am not going back. Sasuke nodded slowly. I will relay your decision to Kakashi. He will be disappointed but not surprised. He knew this was coming. Will you still visit? Naruto asked. Will I lose you too? You are my best friend, Sasuke said. Have a lovely day, see you next time, till then sayonara.